Counter-Strike is a series that is hardly in need of an introduction. It has been a staple of everything from LAN parties to competitive gaming for over a decade. Counter-Strike Global Offensive keeps the core elements of previous titles while aiming to expand upon it and gives the series a much-needed facelift. The game is of course still using the Source engine, but the levels, characters, and weapons are all made to a higher graphical standard, basically just more polygons and attention to detail. The gameplay of Global Offensive is trying to be more like CS 1.6 rather than CS Source. Large amounts of feedback have been taken from the 1.6 community, and it shows. For example, bullet spray and weapon recoil is pattern-based like 1.6 rather than random like Source, and movement through the maps feels slightly faster-paced compared to Source. When rescuing hostages, they move and respond quickly and without getting easily stuck. If one does end up falling behind, most of the time he will still be able to find his way eventually without needing to return for him. There is a definite focus on getting the weapons to be better balanced so that every match doesn't end up reverting to the AK-47 and M4A1 being some of the only viable weapons. Both of those guns are still very useful, but they aren't the perfect killing machines anymore and don't radically outclass everything else. Submachine guns in particular have been the biggest target of balance changes, followed by the shotguns and machine guns for close-range firefights. The game features several new weapons, including grenades, such as the incendiary grenade for counter-terrorists and the Molotov for the terrorists. These are perfect for temporarily blocking off paths to halt player rushes, as well as getting a crowd to scatter or be burned to death. Another major focus has been on the improvement of hitboxes. In 1.6, the models had fairly generously sized hitboxes around the player models. In Source, the player models became slightly bigger and the generous hitboxes followed suit, but many would argue that as a result, they were now too big. In Global Offensive, the player models yet again became slightly bigger, but the hitboxes have been reshaped and downsized. They now more accurately portray the human body's proportions. Your aim is going to matter much more than before. The buy menu is now organized in a circular layout, making it easy to purchase items on both a mouse and controller. It might be awkward to use at first, but after memorizing the layout, purchasing things becomes very fast and simple. And of course, you can still press the number hotkeys to buy things even faster. There are two new game modes. The first, Arms Race, is basically an official version of the extremely popular gun game mods from previous titles. In this mode, players receive increasingly powerful weapons each time they kill an enemy. The second new mode, Demolition, contains a different, more restricted system of weapon swapping per kill, and only changes out between rounds. Getting multiple kills in one round earns you different types of grenades. All of this is packed in with the bomb planting mechanic from the classic bomb defusal mode, but the maps are small and only contain a single bomb site. There is a weapons course designed to teach new players the basics of the game, and plays out in a very cliché training camp.
Listen up. Thanks for coming out to the Geo Test Center today. I'm sure these tests will be beneath a man of your stature, but a quick refresher course is always good, and HQ likes to see every new recruit run through these tests at least once.
It's clearly intended for the console versions of the game, because tutorials like these are almost a prerequisite for them. The thing is, first-person shooters are so vastly popular on consoles today that it makes you wonder if this is even necessary. Every 12-year-old kid knows how to shoot a gun in an FPS. I can't even picture who this is really aimed at anymore.
Now let's go test your reaction time at the pistol range.
As a whole, Global Offensive is a solid, well-polished game, but ultimately it isn't going to be for everyone. Things like high-speed bunny hopping, quick switching to skip op reload animations, so on and so forth, have been removed in favor of people playing the game the way it was originally intended to be played. Global Offensive is basically a clean slate, a chance to make the quintessential Counter-Strike game. If you prefer the older games with those unintended mechanics, no one is going to blame you for sticking with them, especially if you have dedicated so many years of your life to mastering them. The truth is, though, a new game is an opportunity to reignite the franchise, bring it back into the competitive gaming scene, and find a whole new pile of bugs and exploits for you to make Valve pull their hair out over. It's going to be very interesting to see what the future of Counter-Strike Global Offensive will hold.